This morning, Secretary Napolitano announced new actions my administration will take to mend our nation's immigration policy, to make it more fair, more efficient, and more just, specifically for certain young people, sometimes called dreamers. Now, these are young people who study in our schools, they play in our neighborhoods, they're friends with our kids, they pledge allegiance to our flag. They are Americans in their heart, in their minds, in every single way but one, on paper. They were brought to this country by their parents, sometimes even as infants, and often have no idea that they're undocumented until they apply for a job or a driver's license or a college scholarship. Put yourself in their shoes. Imagine you've done everything right your entire life. Studied hard, worked hard, maybe even graduated at the top of your class, only to suddenly face the threat of deportation to a country that you know nothing about, with a language that you may not even speak. That's what gave rise to the DREAM Act. It says that if your parents brought you here as a child, you've been here for 5 years, and you're willing to go to college or serve in our military, you can one day earn your citizenship. And I've said time and time and time again to Congress that send me the DREAM Act, put it on my desk, and I will sign it right away. Now, both parties wrote this legislation, and a year and a half ago, Democrats passed the DREAM Act in the House, but Republicans walked away from it. It got 55 votes in the Senate, but Republicans blocked it. The bill hasn't really changed. The need hasn't changed. It's still the right thing to do. The only thing that has changed, apparently, was the politics. Now, as I said in my speech on the economy yesterday, it makes no sense to expel talented young people who, for all intents and purposes, are Americans. This is a temporary stopgap measure that lets us focus our resources wisely while giving a degree of relief and hope to talented, driven, patriotic young people. It is the right thing to do. Excuse me, sir. It's not time for questions, sir. Not while I'm speaking. Precisely because this is temporary. And the answer to your question, sir, and the next time I prefer you let me finish my statements before you ask that question, is this is the right thing to do for the American people. Maybe I didn't ask for an argument. I'm answering your question. It is the right thing to do for the American people, and here's why. Here's the reason. Because these young people are going to make extraordinary contributions and are already making contributions to our society.
Well, I want to ask you what Steve was talking about. Are you troubled by the process of this? The president did propose or did get involved with the DREAM Act, which was defeated by Congress in 2010. A lot of people are calling this an executive end run around Congress to accomplish the same thing.
Which is exactly what it is. Beyond the pandering, beyond the politics, beyond the process, is simple constitutional decency. This is out-and-out lawlessness. You had a clip of the president himself saying months ago, I cannot do this on my own because there are laws on the books. Well, I have news for the president. The laws remain on the books. They haven't changed. He proposed the DREAM Act, of which this executive order is a variation. He proposed the DREAM Act. The Congress said no. The Congress is the one who makes the laws. What the administration does is it administers the law, and in fact, what it's pretending to do is to use discretion. That's what the Homeland Security Secretary said. This is not discretion. Discretion is when you treat an individual on a one-by-one basis on the grounds of extenuating circumstances. This is the declaration of a whole new set of criteria, which is essentially resurrecting the legislation that the Congress has said no to. And I think this is not how you run a constitutional republic. This ought to be in the hands of Congress, and it is an end run. And what's ironic, of course, is that for 8 years, the Democrats had been screaming about the imperial presidency of the Bush administration, the nonsense about the unitary executive. This is out and out lawless. This is not how you got